Just above, scarves, socks, and baby sweaters hung from a tree branch, and a few curious blackbirds looked on. She noticed none of it. Even the sign above the door, Black Sheep and Company, had no effect. The sight usually elicited a wave of pure calm in expectation of chatting and stitching all evening with her very best friends. All she wanted to do tonight was vent her heart out and soak up some sisterhood sympathy, and sip some wine. Not necessarily in that order. She stepped inside and saw the group in the back room, seated around the big oak table. It looked like they were just about to start dinner. An appetizing scent greeted her, and she remembered she'd skipped a real lunch, resorting to the dwindling stash of diet drinks she kept in the office fridge. She could have sworn she'd left a full pack there just the other day, but her coworkers weren't above food pilfering. That was the least of her problems today. Maggie walked out of the storeroom that doubled as a kitchen, a bowl of green salad in her hands. "There you are. We weren't sure if you were coming. We just sat down to eat. Everyone was so hungry. Come, take a seat." "Working late on a hot deal?" Lucy's tone was teasing, but also admiring, Suzanne thought. She glanced at Lucy and felt fixed to the spot. Maggie and the others, Lucy, Dana, and Phoebe, stared back, waiting for her reply. "Not exactly. More like having a nervous breakdown." "Are you all right?" Maggie drew closer and touched her arm. "Did something happen at work?" Suzanne nodded, chin trembling. She thought she might cry, but valiantly fought the urge. "Not something. Someone. You know who I mean. The name that shall not be spoken." Everyone knew the famous quote from the Harry Potter novels about the evil Lord Voldemort, didn't they? Even so, Suzanne was sure the meaning was clear. Dana smiled and shook her head. "Liza Devereaux again? Or should I say, the Dark Lordess? Is that even a word?" "Any way you say it, that woman is pure poison. She was put on this earth to drive me mad, and she finally succeeded." Suzanne felt her blood pressure shoot up all over again. "I'd like to string her up by the strap of that Prada handbag. I'd like to wrap that strand of pearls around her scrawny little throat." "Suzanne, calm down." Maggie put an arm around Suzanne's shoulder and gently guided her into a chair. "What in the world has gotten you in such a state?" Suzanne took a breath and glanced around at the group. They looked back at her with surprise and concern, as if she'd lost her mind. "I sound crazy, right? Maybe I am. Dana, tell me honestly. I can take it." She turned to Dana Hager, the group's resident psychologist, half asking, half dreading a professional diagnosis. "How would you rate my sanity, on a scale of 1 to 10? Dana's expression was pure sympathy. "I'd say you were extremely distressed. Just slow down and take a breath. How can we help you?" She did take a breath, as Dana advised, but she felt tears well up on the exhale. Lucy sat the closest. She leaned over and patted Suzanne's hand, then handed her a glass of Chardonnay. "Here you go. I'll get your dinner. Calm down and tell us what your mortal foe did now." Not good to drink on an empty stomach, Suzanne reminded herself, but she took a healthy sip anyway and tried to focus. "Stole another sale right out from under my nose, that's what. It would have been my biggest commission this year, maybe of my entire career." Dana sat at the far end of the table, most of her dish filled with salad, Suzanne noticed. "Liza is that super-sharp salesperson at your office, right? Your big rival?" "To put it mildly, a rival is another mom in your kid's grade school class who bakes cuter cupcakes. Liza is a vicious predator, ready to pounce at any moment, a deeply despised nemesis, a painful thorn in my backside."